Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shooting the with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Today's topic is, when it comes to safety in our schools and protecting our children's, do it for the children's, what do you think is better? Armed, dedicated security or armed teachers? Which do you think takes care of the problem better? And I will start us off here. Everybody else has already weighed in mostly, so I'm not influencing anybody's opinion. I will say I strongly think armed teachers. Armed security just doesn't have skin in the game. We've even seen police officers standing outside of rooms, multiple police officers, 7 or 8 of them. Well, there's bad shit going in there. Maybe we'll go in there in a minute when he runs out of bullets. We've seen police officers standing outside of schools while kids are being murdered. One police officer standing outside, hearing people scream and hearing gunfire, not going in because he don't got no backup. I feel teachers would be like, we're here. We're going to fucking go down fighting. They have a skin in the game. They know those kids. They care about those kids. Armed security, they just see it as a job. Police officers just see it as a job. In fact, I don't like police officers on campuses, period. Never liked the one at my son's school when he was growing up in high school. I thought he was a jerk and I thought he abused children. And I always let him know I don't like police in schools. And if I ever saw him personally treating, like in one of the meetings I had with his counselor, my son's counselor, they brought the armed resource officer in there because they were talking about my son had a knife, or they thought he'd had a knife. They couldn't prove anything. And I told him, I'm like, I don't like you even being in the school. And if you ever treat one of my kids like they're a fucking suspect or like they're, some perp on the street, I'll have your fucking badge. So I don't like cops in schools, period, because when they have cops in schools, they start using them to enforce rules. They start using them to control the children. I don't like that, period. If you've got to have police officers treating your kids like criminals, well, then maybe you need to close that school and open a better one with people who know what they're doing running it. But I think teachers care more about the kids. I think teachers are more likely to actually step up. They're definitely going to be there. If you got it to where you're like, oh, we got 2 armed security guards. It's too easy for people to go, okay, they got 2 armed security guards. One of them goes to lunch at 12. And the other one does a walk around at around the same time. Well, we just got to shoot 1 cop and then school's unarmed. Or 1 security guard and the school's unarmed for half an hour or an hour. It's too easy to plan around 1 or 2 security people. But if you got a school with 35 teachers in it and 12 of them are armed and you don't know which ones, you can't really take care of that ahead of time. You can't make that part of your plan, how you're going to deal with it. So I think most teachers are more than capable of handling a firearm. They're more than capable of keeping that firearm locked up when it's not being used. They're more than capable of maintaining a safe environment with that firearm in it and then using it when it's needed. Not only are they more than capable of doing it, I think they're more likely to do it. So either armed teachers or armed parents working as resource officers or something that is not a uniformed person or 2 at a certain place. Plus, make sure the schools are locked up. My kid's school had security to where you couldn't get in, had the shatter-resistant glass, the big steel doors, but every time I went up there, they had it propped open with a brick because they didn't have someone at the front desk to buzz people in. I'm like, talk about a breach of security. Make breaches of security a fireable offense. That's how one of those kids got in. Remember, teacher went to her car or something, and he got in a back door that had been propped open because the teacher propped it open so they could come and go. That should be a fireable offense, breaching the security, putting kids at risk. But like I said, I think armed teachers has so many advantages over armed security. That's the way I would want to go. Now let's go see what other people have to say over here, if they agree with me or disagree with me. Officer Tater Hater said, I will trust teachers with guns before private security because most private security are off-duty cops. And you know how I feel about that. Sent emails. I know. I watched one of your emails. I can't believe that woman's a cop. Well, I mean, I believe it. DEI is not a good thing in some places. I think DEI can be good in some places, but not law enforcement. I don't think women should be cops unless they're an exceptional woman I don't think they have what it takes physically to be a police officer. But getting off topic, I agree. I agree with teachers before cops any day of the week. I'm not really happy with the kind of people that are cops. The kind of people that are teachers are, I think, a better class of people, to be honest. Practical Bacon, prefer letting teachers carry. Me too. I think the teachers actually have more skin in the game and care more about the children. And they're more than capable. If they can graduate college, most of those cops, they graduated college. Hey, you just saw Pinch Me Vampire earlier. I mean, clown college maybe, but let's see here. Sean Bain said, why not both? If teacher wants to assist able, why not? Private security will be just like LEO. They have to follow company policy. Why not both? Because I don't want police in schools. That's why not both. I don't like the way police behave in schools. I don't like how they enforce their rule in schools. And plus, like I said, they're too easy to overcome. And if a teacher thinks, well, the cop will take care of it, well, then they'll be less likely to get involved. I want them to know they're the first line of defense. They're the best chance the kids have. I don't want to be muddling responsibility. State hats. Yes, they should. Imagine the whole staff equipped. They would stop the active threat quickly. Yeah, and I love when people make up these stupid scenarios like, oh, if you got multiple armed teachers, they're just going to end up shooting each other or the students. What would make you think that? Are you that stupid? Are you that incompetent? Are you a teacher? I hope not. And here's the thing. If you know you're that incompetent, well, then don't be one of the ones that carries. But I bet you the science teacher one row over who's shot all of his life, has possible military background, he'd probably handle that gun. And he probably knows how to keep it safe. And he probably knows how to acquire a target. He doesn't just run out in the hallway shooting. So if you can't do that, well, then don't be one of the ones that does it. But don't push your inadequacies onto other people. I'm not talking to the person that commented there. I'm talking about teachers that say shit, people who say shit like that. John Mandrick, armed teachers, private security is not reliable and usually poorly paid and trained. They definitely are poorly paid and trained. My son is an armed security guard. They don't pay him worth of shit. Mikey D said teachers that want to, with proper training and periodic certification, don't need to add to the problem. People too scared or afraid to act. Well, yeah, people like that. If you're too timid, like if it's like, oh God, there's a person with a rifle going to shoot my kids, and you're going to like hide behind the desk, and that's all you're going to do. But you know what? I've very seldom ever seen that. Every camera I've ever seen when looking into school shootings and stuff, when they have video of what's going on in the classrooms, the teachers leap the fucks in action. You know, they're shoving kids in closet, locking doors, shoving stuff up against the door. Or one where the guy's got a baseball bat and he's got his back against the door, waiting to see if the guy comes through the door. You know, imagine if he had a rifle instead of a baseball bat. So the teachers usually jump too. They see those as their kids and they're going to protect them. Police officer sees those as your kids and part of the problem. So I don't want them there. Let's see. That was Micah D. Paul Rawlerson says, arm and train teachers. They handle hostiles daily, and most of the kids survive. Appreciate your opinions. I agree with you. We got two more people weighing in here. Then we'll be, a couple more people weighing in here. Then we'll be done. Mr. Furley said, teachers, they'll do what needs to be done. B. I don't know what that last B is for. But I understand. I agree 100%. Teachers will get it done. Teachers will get involved. I know a bunch of teachers, and I would guarantee you 3/4 of them would throw themselves in front of a child before they'd let them get harmed. I've known a lot of cops. I don't know one that would throw themselves in front of a child that wasn't there to protect them. So, yeah, in fact, if you've ever been in law enforcement, you know that's not the goal when you go out. The goal is get home alive. That's the big number one goal, is that you get home alive. I thought, I think the number one goal should be that you go out, do your best to enforce the law without hurting anybody, without violating anybody's rights, and that you don't harm anybody who's innocent. Because when it's the only thing that matters is that you get home alive, well, a lot of innocent people get hurt just so you don't got to take any risk. That don't make a lot of sense to me. Chunky D, who's chiming in from his toilet, I think, says, we should have both armed guards and teachers, along with hard defense like bulletproof windows and better metal detectors. Well, just locking the doors. Most schools are fortresses if they're actually locked up. Don't be propping stuff open. I remember when I was in high school, our building was it looked like a prison, and it was formidable if it was locked up. But almost every door had a brick in it or something like that because teachers wanted to go out and smoke and be able to get back in and not have to go around to the front. So, yeah, breach of security shouldn't be allowed. How hard is it to have simple? I have motion detectors and alarms everywhere on my property. Cameras all over my property. How hard is, and it ain't expensive or I wouldn't have it. How hard would it be to have the school have that? Locks on all the doors and stuff. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And even have the back doors. Like if a teacher goes out to their car to get something in the parking lot, they come up to the back door, they push a button. Someone in the office sees them, buzzes the door open. And now some people will say, oh, but if they did that, an armed person could force them to go open the door. And then, well, even then the staff buzzing them in would see that and they'd be able to sound the alarm. So it'd be better than what they do now. John Bologna Jr., both, but there needs to be protocol and drills should be done monthly. I don't know about drills for that. That should be done in training. Should be practice available, training available for the teachers who want to take it. But drills, all that does is make the kids frightened. I'm not a big fan of that. Remember when we had to do the duck under the desk and run to the basement and all that stuff in school from the nuclear attack drills? I don't want to put kids through that shit for something that's 1 in a billion chance. There was far more likely chance we would get into a nuclear war with Russia than there is an attacker is going to attack your school. So I just don't like it. We got one more person weighing in here. It's Ghost Shadow. And he said, wouldn't trust teachers with sharp pencil. I would. I think most teachers are quite reasonable people. Now, of course, there are the ones that are bad. Hell, back in high school, we had a teacher named Miss Bogus. I bet give her fucking 2 machetes and she'd take out anybody. Then she was stout. She looked like a piranha, underbite. She was very heavy, short and heavy. Probably about 5'5", but probably about 300 pounds. But I remember one day she had bought cases of oranges from the 4-H people. And one of them asked her if she needed any help getting it home. She lived across the street from the junior high school. She had a trailer over there in a trailer park. And he had one me to help carry him home. She said, no, I got it. And she threw 2 big old crates of oranges, each one weighing about 30 to 40 pounds, up on her shoulders and just walked across the field home. And I'm like, she's stout. But that looks like that's it for us today. Thanks, everybody, for coming and for participating. How about you out there in YouTube land? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Armed teachers or armed security and why? I'd love to hear your opinion. For everybody else that's here and participated, and if you want to participate in person, show up. Want to remind everyone out there, we do these chats every day at 6 p.m. Another thing, this is a restricted channel. So if you want to be notified when we go live, when we do videos, etc., make sure you go over to my YouTube channel page. There's a link in the upper corner of this video. Subscribe, and then make sure you click that bell and turn on notifications, or you will not get notified about things going on this channel. We are a restricted channel. So make sure you do that if you want to help fight back against YouTube's anti-2A censorship, help the channel survive the bias. So go on over there, sign up. Also, if you want to help support the channel in any other way, go on over to tympistolproject.com. There's a link to that in the upper corner also. You can get merchandise like my Don't Point Your Glock at Your Cock shirt here, which is entitled What Could Go Wrong. Feel free to go over, buy some merchandise and help support TYM Triple P, or join Patreon, support Pets and Vets, or join Subscribe Star and support either one of them you choose. Get yourself some cool one-of-a-kind patches over there that you can't get anywhere else, or I guess I should say exclusive. There's more than one of them. There's like 25 of each. So get yourself some exclusive patches, or even go over to Allen Anchor and buy you some special patches that also there's only 25 of each of them. Like this one here. The Phil loves you, but he will fuck you up. That also will get you on the Phil scroll at the end of the video where you're a supporter of the channel, member of the Church of Phil. So do all that, and I appreciate it. And like I said, thanks everybody for participating. I appreciate it. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.